Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is the Midday Market Report for Thursday, February 17th, 2022. Thirsty Thursday for most of you. It's that time of the week that we thoroughly enjoy as we take the trip to the Windy City. And our main man, the mid-major king himself, Mr. Colton Sroka, will be blessing us with his presence, his knowledge, his wisdom, his enthusiasm. No one has more in these lanes than this gentleman. And we are stoked to have him every Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 p.m. Central in his time. I just got to throw this out there. At 12 o'clock, there was a game for all the public and the degens of the world. And when they see that game, they wake up either having a great night on Wednesday, maybe a bad Wednesday, maybe a bad week, maybe a great week. I don't know. But they see a 12 o'clock game and it's like, whoa, we got a chance to make a stance. But I just want to tell you and ask you guys a question. Buffalo versus Emu, and we all know Emu is horrendous. Buffalo opened up at 9, quickly went to 10.5, even 11 at DraftKings. The final score 83-69. So 75% of the bets, 72% of the money, all on the favorite. Because again, in these early games when we don't have a lot of knowledge, well, some people, our guest does, of course, we go and flock right to the favorite and the over. But I just want to ask you this. If I ask you to name 2 starters on Buffalo and 1 on Emu, how many could do it? Well, most of you probably couldn't do it. Second of all, the opening under over was 152. So let me go back to the final score. 83-69. Now, listen, in my math class, that equals 152. How does Vegas do it? I don't know, but we sure try to beat them every day. So enough from me. Let's bring him in from the Windy City himself, the one, the only, the mid-major king himself, Mr. Colton Sroka.
You're talking about me. Oh, gee, I tell you, every time you bring me in, Jeff, I swear I'm looking for that guy you talk about. I just want to hang out with him for a couple hours. I mean, hey, the pleasure is all mine. I get to hang out with the Cape Cod Connection for an hour, the 4th day of every week. I mean, I absolutely love it, my friend. It's been a rocky college basketball week as per usual. It's been all over the map, all over the place. I've still been cashing tickets. Cashed some tickets yesterday. Moving right on to the week, moving right along. It's almost that time. March Madness, my friend. We are about to strap in, and CC John Rothstein, we sleep in May. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. I'm recovering from I can't call it jet lag, even though I do drive a Honda Pilot, no pun intended. But 2.5 up to stores, live remote show from stores, get to have lunch and dinner with my daughter, and then we head over to Gamble an hour early. The place was rocking. It was electric. Again, how do they do it? Well, let's ask you this. A funny story about this game. Mm-hmm. Now, I knew on Monday, Ken Palm had this game at 5. I talked to a lot of my colleagues, and they bought UConn at 5. And I just said this, guys. The number smells to me for this reason. UConn has been double digits at home every game this year. The only one that they might have opened at 9.5, got pushed to 10 or 11, was the Johnnies, and that game went to overtime. They play Xavier on Saturday, then of course Tuesday at the XL Center against Villanova. 3 missed 1-and-1s in the final minute for UConn. They finally hit 2 free throws, up 7. Seton Hall comes down, bangs out a jump shot to cut it to 5 with 4.8 seconds. UConn inbounds the ball, and guess what? Seton Hall didn't foul. It was like half the stands had the UConn -5 and a hook. And they're like, foul. And I saw some Seton Hall jerseys. They're like, no foul. It landed on 5.
Yep. 65-70, my friend. Absolutely electric. I don't know how they do it, but it's crazy. I tell you, you start to get to middle of February, end of February, and definitely into March, man, the books get sharp. They get really, really sharp. So all these experts and everybody that crawls out of the woodwork during this time of the year because there's no college football, there's a little bit of a break in NBA, the NHL's starting to get picked back up again after the All-Star break. All these college basketball experts start crawling out of the woodwork, if you will. So I implore you, all of you out there listening or watching or whatever you may be doing, take stock of who's always showing up every single day and continuously hammering in plays and who might have just popped out of the woodwork and all of a sudden have all these great plays and are going 15-0. I don't know. Who am I? I just my regular PSA for the people out there today.
Preach it. It's just comical. They crawl out of the woodwork on all these apps, and our villain in these lanes, Mr. Darren Rovell, got on one of these apps, and next thing you know, he's showing you one thing, and then the next morning he's showing you something different because you can erase the games that you picked that lost and just left the winners up there or flip-flopped them in. And so just, yes, be careful. Guys out there on Twitterville, on gambling Twitter or whatever you guys want to call it, whatever social media platform you're on, take stock in the names and the faces, the guys that are out there every day, the guys that, don't look for duck boats and parades after a 6-1 day and even putting up their results after a 1-6 day. It happens in this business. There's one thing that separates 95% to the other 5%, and that's 100% transparency. And that's what you got right here, right now. And all of our guests, I will not bring on a guest that is not 100% transparent. Sure. We've been in these lanes for 7 years now. The number one ranked sports investors on Google first page. Please go and search sports investors, Google search, and you'll see us right here. Why? Because we grind, and we're transparent. You said up and down. It's been a week since we talked. Give us the week recap. What Colton shocked, surprises. The floor is yours.
Where do I start? I know where I can go. Number one, I got a serious bone to pick, and me and you were talking about it, and it entails this bad boy right here. We talked about how excited we were for pitchers and catchers, Jeff, and damn it, I sat here so excited for the game so beautiful that it has to be played on diamonds, only to find out by the legendary Jet passing that it's going to get pushed back yet again. Who knows? February the 26th was supposed to be the starting day of spring training, opening day of spring training. Does not look like that's coming around. So in late breaking news, that's really got me chapped. I was hoping I could be talking to you here with baseball because, hey, I got the old Cubbies on this. I got the golf. I got golf knocked out. We can talk about college basketball. I mean, I was knocking everything out at once here today. But that's my first soapbox. As far as college basketball goes, I tell you what, closed out last week, not too bad. Our Saturday show, Cup of Joe on campus, not too shabby either, a little bit over 50%. And then Sunday, I said, man, I'm degenerating out. I'm going to find some solid value today. I'm going to have everybody fill in their bank rolls before we go into the Super Bowl, and I'll be damned if I didn't go 5-0 on Sunday. I mean, I absolutely ripped them to pieces. Just absolutely beautiful. I said, hey, play all of these straight. Throw a little bit of on a parlay. I mean, I'm telling you, it's absolutely electric. I said, hey, put a little bit straight play on every single one of them, parlay every single one of them, and I think we're going to get us the pay window. And I'll be damned if we didn't. We had a great day, perfect opportunity to cash one of those two right before the Super Bowl. So I say that with kind of bated breath, I guess, for lack of a better term, because then Monday turned around and went 0-5, and here's your transparency. I fucking went 0-5, and then Tuesday I went 0-2, and then yesterday I went 1-1 on my two college basketball plays. It's been so bananas the last few days because, boys and girls, I don't change my process. I don't, let me throw these stats out for the day. Let me forget this little bit of split that I saw. No, I don't change my process. So it's not like I'm just doing something different. And also, I joke, but I can't tell you how serious I am, my friends. I don't just sit in this chair here because this is my capping chair. This is the old Cap and Colt. This is where he sits right here to cap his games. But I'm telling you, I don't just sit here and toss a couple darts at the board, fire off a couple at the old target. That'll work. I think so. Let me give that out to the people. No, I spend hours on this. I spend time on this. I go through this, and it almost takes just kind of dumbing it down to an extent, and that's kind of what I've done for my plays here today. I got 3 plays, and I kind of took it back to the baseline, for lack of a better term, because you can start like, oh yeah, that trend, that works, and then all of a sudden, what I found is you can start finding all these good trends that'll work for you, but at the end of the day, the more trends you get involved in one doggone play, it's going to end up not working in your favor. That old analysis paralysis, if you will, for lack of a better term. So I've kind of tried to pull the reins back a little bit as far as diving deep into trends and insights and all of this, because it kind of seemed like it's been a trend-breaking day. I said it on, or a week rather. I've said it on our show today that as far as like home away splits and home dogs, road dogs, everything like that, they have really, really, really been trend breakers this year, or this week. If a team is 6-0 or 5-1 or somewhere around there, it's going to tend to be that it's going to be on the side of them not covering that number. So it's been a wild week, as is always with college basketball. About one week out of every 4, you're going to have some nonsense happen, and it's the game we play when you are a big fan of college basketball. But we dive deep December to May, and then we get our bags and get on up and get on out. So, hey, we'll keep moving. We'll keep grooving. I think I got some solid value on the board today, though.
I'm trying to move this here. Let's try this. Shout out to your partner in crime, Mr. Riley Magnuson, checking in. And Riley, you're on deck at 2:00 tomorrow. So we'll be talking some Big Ten and plenty of other good stuff. So thanks for checking in. I talked at length yesterday to a few clients and a few colleagues, and we talked a few weeks ago about the traps and how our eyes see the board. And I talked to you about no more the banana in the tailpipe. Well, I got banana trees still growing. Trust me on that. But I made on our show Saturday, the breakfast bankroll, as we get ready for the start of the big slate. Huge reverse live movement on Georgetown against Creighton. I think the line was 2. And I was on the show. I didn't release it to our VIPs. And I'm like, guys, I think Pat's finally going to get his first win. And then Creighton just destroys him. So then it's a back-to-back. So they play him again. And the same thing. I'm like, guys, this smells like stench. I'm going to tell you, take Georgetown plus 11. They're down 17 at half. 23 in the second half. Well, wouldn't you know, with 2 minutes to go, they were only down 6, and they get outscored 5-0. It lands on 11. So yesterday, the South Floridas of the world, no, that was the day before, but yesterday, the Georgetowns of the world, the BCs of the world, the Stenches of the world, all come running and they cash. BC takes Notre Dame to OT. Yep. Georgetown, backdoor little Joe. So before we get to your card today,
sure.
Any words of wisdom to the people out there that are caught in no man's land right now?
I tell you, right now, it's almost as if the books are setting lines, anticipating all these experts to come out of the woodwork. And what I mean by them getting really sharp is, here's a game that sticks out in my mind. Yesterday, George Washington against Duquesne. Line opened up 4.5. Classic number. Quickly steamed down to 3.5. Now, anybody you would typically know would consider them a sports betting analyst of any type would say, oh my gosh, with steam moves, money talks, we got to get in on the 3.5. Well, unfortunately, this entire year, from December, the first doggone tip to where we sit right here, right now, February the 17th of 2022, that has been classic setup line movement. 9 times out of 10, I would tell you that is a sharp side. The sharps have got involved, and that is exactly where you need to side yourself. Now, yesterday, it did hit. George Washington took care of business. They ended up winning by double digits. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I didn't get involved because I've got smacked square in the mouth over and over again on that exact same movement. So I would tell you to be tentative on that. And I don't want to tell anybody out there to be a public bettor, but almost think from a public perspective in some spots. Obviously keep your betting wits about you and take stock of the line movement, but maybe don't buy into steam and line movement as much as you would for some of those other sports. And really, that what have you done for me lately mindset, just scrap that. Throw that out the window. When it comes to college basketball, throw that out the window because it truly does not matter. Some kid will drop 29 on the domes of their opponents and follow it up with the very next game with 2 points, no rebounds, and a half of an assist because he somehow couldn't figure out somebody tipped it and helped with the pass for the assist. Some nonsense happened. So it's just college basketball. It is what it is, and I would just say it's nice to shoot volume from time to time. But if you're only going 50% shooting volume, what up, Phil? How's it going, my man? But yeah, if you're shooting volume and you're only going 50%. Think about what you're doing, and I know it's great to shoot volume, and I've really had to pull the reins back on myself because I'm a volume shooter for sure. I love, especially on a Saturday, seeing 150, 160 games on the card, and say, oh my gosh, how can I not get involved? At least 20, maybe 30 by the time we get done with our morning show. And it's just it's not worth it because I was going, we have 20 picks, I go 10 and 10. Now I'd be very, very selective. I might not come out of a Saturday with but 5 to 7 plays, and now I'm going 5 and 2. I'm going 4 and 1. I'm getting all the tickets to the pay window. So selection, I would say, and I know that's kind of a lot of stuff to digest, but I would say the biggest things right now is don't play too heavy into the steam, the money and bet splits, line movement, all that classic traditional shit that you would typically buy into with every other sport that you have out there. And then the other main thing is just don't think like a public bettor, but have how you would play if you see this and how every single public bettor is out there thinking. At least have that in the back of your mind while you're making a play too. But just be very selective with how you're getting involved. And honestly, my process, it has continued to evolve the entire year. Here I go down another rabbit hole or it's kind of just a process kind of track. It has just continued to evolve. And one thing I found really beneficial, and I won't shout anybody out or say any names or anything like that by any means, but I truly will go and in the mornings when I'm part of my handicapping is going and reading other articles. I will read other people that I respect in the industry, or maybe I respect them to fade them in this spot. Maybe I see their college basketball plays and I know like, hey, you're a great NFL capper. You're a great NBA capper. You don't know shit about shit when it comes to college basketball hardwood, and I know you're just getting involved because that's all that's on the slate. So I'll use that to my advantage. Now, do I always fade those people? No. Now, do I always take those people? No. But there's nothing out there. I don't get it. I don't get the whole me versus you. It's not me versus you, Jeff. I will read your analysis on a play. Let's say, for instance, you're on the Michigan and the Iowa game, and you are staunch on Michigan. Great. I'll read your opinion. I'll read your whole article. I'll read what you got to say, and then I'll still sit back at the end and say, nope, Jeff's a dumbass. I love Iowa -5.5 on this one. Give it all to me. Or I'll agree with you. Either way, but it's such a critical part. And that's in life, too. I guess you can apply that to life, too. Look at me. Here I go down a whole nother rabbit hole. It's in life, too. Take in the opinions of others. And even if you agree with it, you don't agree with it, apply it to what you do and apply it to your process, apply it to your life. So that's my college basketball nutshell for the day. You know, Colts motivation minutes, positivity, the power of it. I'll keep it moving. I'll keep it grooving. I'm sure I'll have other rabbit holes throughout the day.
Yeah, and you know what stuck out like a sore thumb to me was I'm losing track of days here. Monday night, Villanova opened at 4.5 at Providence, and I knew right away which side was the right side there.
Yep.
Public jumped on it, went right down to 4. And yep. I tell you, the two grittiest teams, I'm telling you, not just in the Big East, in college, okay, Providence and Nova just have the heart, the 50-50 ball. They just find ways, and every time Nova got up 7, Providence would cut it to 1 or tie. You talked about the career days. Gillespie, 32 points, career high of 33 points. They just had an answer. But you're so right. You know, I'll close so we can get to your plays here because I'm going to keep you for 10 hours today. First and foremost, shout out to Phil Dunaway, my man Phil from Indiana. Man, I miss you. I sent you a text earlier today. I hope you got it. I think we need to reconnect on the phone real soon. You are missed. Let me tell you, you are missed. And but going back, Last night, myself and Scotty were doing the closing bell. Pregame.com,
Hmm.
$250,000 on the Texas Tech Baylor game. Now, let me just put that in perspective, okay? NBA games just cracked 100,000.
Yeah.
There were some college games that might have got 50, 60, 70,000. $250,000 on pregame on Texas Tech and Baylor. Now, we know Texas Tech stopped Baylor's home winning streak, so it was a great revenge spot for Baylor. We both know Texas Tech has been playing a lot better than Baylor right now. The line opened up at 1, went to 1.5, closed around 2. 76% of the bets, 84% of the money, all on Texas Tech, and they didn't move it. Now, you and I know the Super Bowl, there was probably a B for billions. We were tracking about $15-18 million here. You can see the line movement, the ticket movement, the money movement, and everything adds up. Okay, to get to $250,000 on a college basketball game in the middle of the week, that takes duffel bags, that takes bags, that takes oil money, people that know something. And guess what? They didn't move the line. They didn't move the line.
Yeah.
And so from my standpoint, they're taking a stance on Baylor here. First of all, they're like, come on, Texas Tech, we got a lot of you. We got 250,000, 86% of it. So they had about $228,000 on Texas Tech. Baylor up 7 at halftime. Their risk room were doing cartwheels. Champagne. They were calling the escort services. Well, Texas Tech said, not so fast, and outscored them by about 18 and win by double digits. It's just amazing, Colton. Just amazing.
It really is. I truly have never seen anything like it. And I mean, let me go back here because it bears mentioning, and it's more than fine. I'll cook right through my plays. I can rip out some analysis in about a half of a second. But it bears mentioning going back to kind of the beginning of this week in some of my plays because okay, for instance, that 5-0 day, I take Northern Kentucky plus the 5.5, extremely undervalued. They take care of business, no problem, beautiful. Fordham plus the 2.5 on the road in Duquesne, easy money. The Johnnies against UConn, they cover the 1 in the hook. The 4.5, I took them at 4.5. They lose 63-60. I mean, Monmouth, take them at plus 8.5. They lose 62-70. Like, that's what it should be, right? Like, a Monmouth versus Iona, an 8.5 spread, it should be the dog setting up Iona in those spots. Not when you take St. Louis plus 2.5 against a St. Bonaventure team that has been worth about a half of a plug nickel this entire season, and then they're cooking them by double digits for the entire game, and they end up winning 83-79. It makes no sense to me. I mean, Central Michigan, same thing. I took Central Michigan plus 1.5 this week. I absolutely loved them. They've been playing their best ball of the season. Holy shit. It's a small little spread between them and Eastern Michigan. Home hardwood, down by double digits the whole game. They lose 75-70. Same story with St. Peter's, plus the 4.5 on their home hardwood. Scrappy bunch. Number 1 team in their conference right now, and they can't take care of business against Iona and go ahead and cover the 4.5. So it is so puzzling. It is so bizarre to me. It's so many goofy little different things. And then flip side of that coin, I take Jacksonville minus 1.5 against Stetson in his absolute blowout. So I've been playing trends of a team. Okay, hey, they're hot, like Jacksonville last night. They're hot. They're rocking and rolling. They're moving right along, steaming down the tracks, cashing tickets. And the next thing you know, that doesn't matter. They're hot, and that's why I said kind of at the top of the show, this week has been like a trend breaker week. It's like if a team's 6-0 on the road, you better guarantee that it's about to be their first loss, or if they're 8-1 against the number, you better guarantee that it's about to be 8-2 after this game, whatever situation that you might find that number or that trend in, because it has just seemed like one of those weeks, and it just pops up out of nowhere, my man. I don't know what they are, but it is and I guess you say that 250,000 being wagered on the Baylor and Texas Tech, and I know not many people are fans of wagering on college basketball. And when I start getting down the mid-major rabbit holes and stuff, everybody, well, who the hell is he even talking about? Like, where is this team even located? I know I'm a lot deeper than the average bear for sure, but I think getting involved in college basketball and in a niche sport like that is something that would be beneficial to so many bettors, especially bettors that might not have the best NFL season or come into kind of this and now, oh shit, we got to wait till maybe MLB comes around or maybe till next football season or who knows, or shit, we get involved in the tournament. I know so many people that wait to get involved in the tournament, and that's when the books are the sharpest. I just said it. I mean, for crying out loud, you're battling the sharpest books out there and the best numbers, and you haven't seen the trends. Truly, to bet college basketball, it takes a couple of yones. I'll tell you that. It takes you being willing to get kicked in the teeth a few times, because you are going to have to play trends that are going to take you 5-0 on a Sunday and 0-5 on a Monday. It is just simply college basketball. And if you come into March Madness not have really playing, not have paid attention to these trends, not tuning into shows like this, whether it's me and Jeff talking or anybody else, I mean, I'm telling you, March is going to be a rough month for a lot of bettors, I think, because it has been. I mean, we sit here and talk about it almost every week, Jeff, about how brutal this college basketball season has been. So prayers up to all these experts crawling out of the woodwork for sure. And I know I used to make fun of everybody with their profile pictures and everything. And of course, I got an NFT as my profile picture now, so I can't really make fun of anybody. But hey, at least my face is out here. At least I put videos out there. I'm doxxed, as they say in the community. So yeah. Come on. Keep showing up. Put your faces from about behind them profile pictures, and let's see who's really cashing tickets in a month.
I'll close on this note. I know a lot of people in these lanes that when they hit these bumps, they bob and they weave and they it's like a 28,000 course meal. You add, you subtract a little extra here, a little less here.
Right.
Okay. But I always talk about the Jedi mind tricks that Vegas is playing with us. As you said earlier, and when we started the conversation, those steam moves, those 80-70 splits where the line drops on the other side is only meant for us sharp guys. And they're allowing the public to go smile, bet on the public side, and they're cashing tickets. And we're sitting here scratching our head because we've played Georgetown now 5 times in a row. It hit the reverse lineman. It hit every bell and whistle. It's not coming in. And so, but my point here is when your brain starts playing tricks on you and you start releasing nothing but favorites, because you think, well, I can't be playing the dogs anymore, and you're just going to Chalk Central and the favorites, you're going to see the same results. Okay. And I'll talk quickly about the Celtics, winners of 9 in a row. 2 nights ago, go into Philly up 51. They win by 30 something. I mean, a statement. They come home last night, 12.5-point favorites. They should have been, I would have respected the number at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 12.5 for a reason.
And their ass whooped.
Come on, Celtics.
They got whooped.
The Detroit Pistons, and I know Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, Joe Dumas, they weren't playing last night.
No.
They came into the God and
the God. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And you talk about those Jedi mind tricks. I share this with everybody, and I've shared it with your audience, but just between me and you and between it's just us talking. But I'm a super soldier, all right? I'm the kind of guy I walk into a room and I know how many light sockets are in the damn room before I even have to count them. I know how many light switches, what's going on in the area. I'm a very discernible human being. I know what's going on without it going on. I play chess while everybody else plays checkers, right? So yes, you talk about these Jedi mind tricks. And when I can't utilize my own Jedi mind tricks on these assholes, it's time for me to go out to the hole in the desert and start talking to some of these people behind the counter. And let's get on the same page here, boys. Hey, you're hurting my head because I'm putting in too much work for you guys to be jagging around with this shit. And I like to hold myself to a higher standard. I don't need to be giving out losers. So let's just get on the same page. You see my tickets. You see my name on them. Stop mushing my plays. You guys can do whatever else you want with everybody else's. Just leave mine alone. I got a mid-major king reputation to withhold. Please and thank you.
The sermon's over. The second basket will be passed. We might have a third basket by the end of this show, but it's that time of the show where the mid-major king spits some venom, some education, some knowledge, some enthusiasm as he takes us to the window.
Yes, sir. All right. You got your usual. You want to pull up your board? If not, I got rotation numbers. If not, it don't matter.
I could not do the show without pulling up the board for you. You know better than that.
Well, hey, it's all you, my man. All good. If you got it, you don't. Yeah, hey, there you go. All right. First one, rotation number 743, 744.
I am so glad you pulled this game up. I can't wait to hear this.
So we're calling this one the Colonial Crusher, my friends, and we are taking the UNC Wilmington Seahawks +3, my friends, and look at him smile. He loves every bit of it. Now, it's a battle between the two best teams in the CAA, no question about it. And in my humble opinion, in a situation like this, you got to take the points with the home dogs. Now, typically, looking back historically, you would hammer in Towson left, right, and center, but the old Seahawks have been building a team that they have been able to finally compete in the CAA. Now, let's stick a pin in that, and we'll come back to why it's so important as to why they finally built a team where they've been able to compete in conference. But we'll still talk about them. They are actually first in the Colonial. They're 12-2 straight up and against the number in conference play. 11-1 straight up, 8-2 against the number on their home hardwood, with 2 of those 11 wins coming outright as puppy dogs, baby. They're coming off of a weird game against William and Mary. If you've been following college basketball in any capacity, the Tribe have been playing the upset kids to a beautiful tee, and I'm not really buying that last game, and I think we're getting great value on the Seahawks because of that nonsense game. 4-2 against the number, their last 6 overall, so I think they keep rolling, point blank, period. Now, Towson, second in CAA, the Colonial. They are 10-3 straight up in conference play, but 6-1 against the number against conference opponents, so just a little bit too inconsistent for my liking. 8-4 straight up, 10-2 against the number on the road, so I know that's solid, but here recently there's a little bit of a different story. 2-3 against the number their last 5, with 4 of those with them being as favorites. They are 1-4 against the number their last 5 overall as favorites, so I am not buying them here in the favorite position, especially at the key number of 3, my friends. I'll let you do with that information what you please, but I also will direct you back to taking that pin out and back to the Seahawks. Now, I love the transfer portal. I don't know about you. We've heard differs of opinion from people who are involved in college, whether that be football or basketball, whatever the case might be. I love the transfer portal because it allows teams like UNC Wilmington to finally now compete. Last year they were 1-7 straight up. 2 years ago they were 5-14 straight up in the Colonial. Now they're 12-2. Again, they are a much better team than they have been traditionally. And Towson, yes, has owned this matchup, no question about it. But this year, I simply do not see that happening. They do match up with Towson incredibly well, better than a lot of the Tigers' previous opponents. UNCW is 177th in height per KenPom compared to Towson's 225th, so a little bit more physical than them. And the Seahawks have a pretty solid fan base, 108th in the nation in home court advantage per KenPom. So I absolutely love it. I think they lean on their home court, and I think they lean on all those previous factors and keep rolling in the Colonial. But come on. If you don't believe me, you didn't honestly think I wasn't going to do this, right? Believe the trends. UNCW 14-2 against the number last 16 overall, 7-1 against the number their last 8 home games, 9-0 against the number their last 9 as a dog. Combine the last 2, 9-3 against the number last 12 as a home dog. 12-2 against the number last 14 following a straight up win. 5-1 against the number their last 6 Thursday games. And the dog in the last 26 meetings between these two teams is 21-5 against the number. I will gladly take all of the points the books are willing to give, with the anticipation that the Seahawks probably win this one outright too. But give me UNC Wilmington +3 for my first best bet of the day, my friend.
I smiled from ear to ear because when Wilmington was on that 12-game winning streak, I know I had back-to-back games. We had Northeastern, and then there was one other spot we tried to get Wilmington. Then we finally got them, and I have stayed away. And I'll give you my honest 2 cents here. I looked at the line, and again, Vegas is just not respecting this Wilmington team, like a Providence, like a Marquette when Shaka was rolling. And I don't know when they're going to respect them. I mean, I would have respected a Wilmington -2 number versus them now getting 3. My first mind says, again, for the 28,000th time, Vegas knows something here. Townsend wins by 4 or more. That's my first. So when you pointed this game out, I was smiling from ear to ear.
Absolutely. I like where your mindset's at. I from a general betting perspective, what you know from betting every other sport, Yeah, take Towson minus the 3, no question. I've backed Towson minus the 3 in this exact spot multiple times based off everything I've seen, based off of UNC Wilmington being a public side and a public dog, and and it just has never worked out. So I take my firm stance. I continue to hopefully cash some doggone tickets, and I take UNC Wilmington plus 3, first best bet, my friend.
Next game.
Next game. I absolutely love this one. This has been a classic setup spot for bettors all year, and I'm actually very surprised. With some of these splits now, it's actually rotation number 747, 748 on the list here today. I wasn't anticipating Troy. This is the Troy Trojans against the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Say that 5 times fast, I dare you. And this is also the Sun Belt Sizzler, by the way. But I wasn't anticipating the Troy Trojans plus 3.5 being the public dog. But hey, I am just fine with that. It really jumped off the screen at me this morning, and it was at 4.5, and now it stayed around 3.5 and 3, and I really like that. 3 in some spots. If it goes back to 4 by tip-off, I love it even more. It really reminds me of that UConn versus St. John's game back on Sunday that we already talked about on this show already. But the reason why it jumped off the screen at me is because the Mountaineers have set bettors up who have been willing to back them in this spot time and time again, and that's being a short home favorite and a little bit overvalued of a short home favorite into the 3.5, into the 4, and I've even got set up backing them in this spot. Now, hey, I told you, college basketball, you're going to have to take your licks sometime, and I think I finally learned my lesson backing the Mountaineers as a home favorite. When they're a home dog, it's okay, but they're just a little bit overvalued as a favorite. Now, why I say that, 10-3 straight up, 4-6 against the number on their home hardwood. So you can obviously see there's been a few key certain spots that it obviously translates to when they're a little bit overvalued as favorites. Obviously, I think that's the spot here again today. These two teams have already faced each other this year, and Troy won the first meeting. Now, it was at Troy back on January the 8th. They won 68-53 as 2-point favorites. And now I'm just not buying the complete flip and almost to 2-bucket underdogs after a double-digit win just because this game's being played in Boone now. I just really don't buy it, and I think Troy keeps rolling, especially on the road. They're trustworthy enough. 7-5 straight up, 8-4 against the number. They're third in the Sun Belt right now, and I know I didn't mention where Appalachian State is. It's because I'm going to mention it now. They're second in the Sun Belt right now, as a matter of fact. And even though Troy really can't displace them or take a higher position against them right now, they can definitely make things interesting here towards the end of the year. So I think we see all of that kind of play in correlation. I think that tempo is also something you're going to want to watch here. App State usually likes to play a slow, grind it out tempo. They're 333rd in the nation in adjusted tempo per KenPom, and that's just something Troy doesn't do. They like to really get moving, get clipping. 164th in adjusted tempo. I think their defense turns into offense. They're pretty solid on the turnover side of things, and any misses, I think we get them cleaned up with a solid 60% or 60th in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. I think we get any second chance opportunities cleaned up well. So I love it there. I love the Troy Trojans plus the 3.5. I love the line movement. Again, if it goes up to 4, buy into all of that. But once again, if you don't believe me, believe the trends. App State 2-5 against the number last 7 after scoring 50 or less in their previous game. 3-9 against the number last 12 February games. Troy 7-1 against the number last 8 following a straight-up loss. 6-2 against the number last 8 on Thursday. 10-4 against the number last 14 as a dog. The Trojans are 6-2 against the number last 8 meetings with the Mountaineers. 4-1 straight up the last 5 meetings, and 3-1 against the last 4 meetings in Boone, North Carolina. That's right, partner. I remembered it this time around. I forgot where the hell Boone was on our show this morning, but not this time, partner, pal. I got it. There you go. There you have it. Second best bet of the day. Troy, plus 3.5.
I like your eyes there. I kind of, when I saw the board and it was Thursday, I kind of had a feel that, yeah, you might have some good info there. Mm-hmm. So that's, we got the 6 and 6:30 slates covered. What's next?
My friend, we are going to 775 and 77, 776. How many sevens I got to say there? As if you saw this game and didn't think that I might potentially have some value on this bad boy too, my friend. I'm all about it. I absolutely love it, and I love the fact that in some spots it has even gone up to 3, and just actually one spot. Our friends over there at Circa. But my friends, if you are brave enough to back the 2.5 or now the 3 at Circa. Apologies, Mr. Benson, but we are going to be bankrupting your entire facility and everything you guys got over there with this single play alone. We're calling this the CUSA Crippler. And I'm hearing lines move as I begin to speak now, my friend. So please get to your local sports book and smack this in. Why in the hell would I not go back to the Florida Atlantic Owls plus 2.5 and give you guys this value? They are rolling, and I think they are going to keep rolling. And sidebar, this is probably going to be one of the best mid-major games on tap here today. Abysinio Court, FAU Arena, winning in paradise, baby. It doesn't get better. It smells like victory, baby. All I know is that it's going to be electric affair. CUSA. First, let's talk about UNT. Classic short road setup favorite here, or short favorite setup spot, rather, as I mix my words up there. UNT has been solid all year, but with them just being 2.5, 3, really nobody having the guts to put them up to 3, because I really think they're going to lose this one outright, and I think they're seeing plenty of public bettors come and get involved in the mean green. They're just not. They're too good, rather, to be that short of a road favorite. And you don't believe me. They're 45th per KenPom, and FAU is 120th per KenPom. So those differences in ranking alone generally tend to lead me to thinking, yeah, this line can't be right. No question about it. And I've been saying this pretty regularly through the course of this show. It has been a trend-breaking week, my friends. UNT 6-0 straight up and 4-1-1 against the number on the road. I think that perfect 6-0 record comes to an end here today, playing the red-hot FAU Owls. They are 13-3 straight up, 10-3 against the number on their home hardwood, 9-3 against the number in conference play compared to UNT's 7-4-1 ATS record in conference play. And then last but not least, I really think that the home and away scoring splits are something we need to look at here and take note of. FAU is scoring 79.5 points per game on their home hardwood compared to UNT scoring 63.4. It's just completely different. You can look at the points per game allowed too, and I won't try and hide those by any means. FAU 66.8 points per game allowed at home, 58.8 points per game allowed for the mean green on the road. So obviously, much better defense it would look like for the mean green there, but that number, that defensive number, points per game allowed number, is a little bit fugazi on that front, and the reason for that is they just played some really lackluster competition, the bottom half of Conference USA on the road, so I'm just not buying it. I think the Owls are a little bit more physical, a little bit more aggressive. I think they're going to push the pace a little bit more. They're not going to boat race the mean green by any means, but they are definitely going to get out and stretch the legs, so some things for you to keep note of, but if you don't believe me, for the final time, believe the trends. FAU 8-2 against the number, last 10 overall. 5-0 against the number, last 5 following straight up a loss. 4-0 against the number, last 4 following an ATS loss. 21-8 against the number, the last 29 home games. 5-0 against the number, last 5 as a home dog. 15-5 against the number, the last 20 on Thursday. And in the last 5 meetings between these two teams, the home team is 4-1, and in the last 14, the dog is 10-4. Give me all of the FAU Owls plus 2.5. Close out my card and stay absolutely red hot on the CBB hardwood.
Well, inspiring minds would like to know, are we closing the show or are we closing it with a parlay today?
Oh, come on. As if the audacity of this guy. What the you think I come to this show and I give you 3 straight plays, and then I just walk away and I say, hey, sweat them out, kids. You know what? You got to pay a dime to get involved. At the end of the day, them books start this whole racket ahead of the 8 ball, and we have to start behind. And you think I come to this show with no extra juice? You're out of your mind. I got it. I'm ready to rock and roll. The Board Bender Parlay, as always, is on tap for you, my friends. Now, I will tell you, be who you can afford to be. Do not risk your whole bankroll on a special play. Do not go insane, but full transparency. We are back-to-back special plays. Me and Mags have cashed. We are going for 3 in a row. I'm very confident in this one. It is a full unit, 3-leg board bender parlay. But again, if you can only afford a half unit, you can only afford a quarter unit. Nobody's judging you on this side of the screen. Whatever pizza and beer money you got, be who you can afford to be. But I tell you that, my friends, with a little bit of bated breath because it doesn't matter what you put on it. We're bankrupting every sports book on the market with this here play, my friends. 3 legs, board bender parlay. Minnesota Golden Gophers, +6. Wichita State Shockers, +2. And the Sam Houston Bearcats, with a K, not a C, -1.5. Quick little bit just on each of them. Minnesota is absolutely beautiful pricing. Penn State as a 6-point home favorite is the setup of all setups. Me and Mags just cashed their +2.5 against Michigan State. In that spot, it was only going to be Penn State. No question about it. In this spot, it's only going to be Minnesota. There's no reason for them to be a favorite. They're terrible as home favorites. I believe 4-9 over their last 13 against the number as a home favorite. Wichita State, this bad boy ticked up a little bit, went to 2.5, touched 3 in some spots, stayed at 2.5 most of the morning, and then dropped down and held firm at 2 despite Cincinnati getting Brinks trucks worth of money dumped on them all day long. Line hasn't gone anywhere. I love the Shockers in this spot. And then Sam Houston, if you don't know about them, they are a whack team. They are actually top of the whack right now, and they've been cashing tickets for me and Mags left, right, and center. This -1.5 feels very similar to that Jacksonville Dolphins play I told you about that I had yesterday. So we're going to stick with that. We have those 3 legs. Last I checked, paying out +572 odds, well over 5. So, hey, you put a little 10 spot on there. You got you a nice little $50 payout. You're going to get a nice fresh $60 in the pot, maybe almost $70 in the pocket. You put $100 on there. You got you got the 100 in the bankroll. You're going to walk out almost $1,000 in the pot. And then you cash my other 3 plays. You just had a $1,000 Thursday just for tuning in to EC Sports Investors for completely free 99, my friends. 0.00. They have websites all across this market charging thousands for what you got here for free. Hey, don't thank me. Just thank this legend for allowing me to come and give you some advice here on this wonderful show.
Our eyes are spot on. Unfortunately, I was a little long-winded on the couple sermons and the baskets that we passed here. The Minnesota Penn State stood out like a sore thumb.
Talk about it.
It reminds me of the Rutgers. Rutgers just keeps on winning. Great as a home dog. I put him as a favorite. Thanks, but no thanks. So that one caught my eye. And the Shockers. Cincinnati is not the Cincinnati of old. The Shockers aren't the Shockers of old, but I think that's a great spot for them. And then Sam Houston in the whack for a +572. Legendary. And we at ECSI obviously can't thank you enough. I've had this scroller going for 48 minutes and 28 seconds. You can find him on all these spots, but I'm not going to tell you because he's got other platforms, social medias where you need to subscribe, sign up. He gives you free emails on hoops, on UFC. There's nothing this man doesn't do. So from me to you, Colton, take it away.
Okay, well, I'll try not to dive too deep into the rabbit hole, but make sure you got your rabbit hole diving shorts on. CC Talking the Line Podcast 2022, if you're a fan at all. That came out the other day. I was like, hey, put your rabbit hole diving shorts on. We're going to go into a bunch of them today. See, there you go. Myself, right into one without even, I'm not even on the topic yet, Jeff. You see, I think I was made to just talk into a fucking microphone. It's just what I do. It's what I do, all right? So, hey, yeah, follow me at ColtTTL Sports. You like negativity, you like toxicity, you like all that bullshit, don't come around. Don't give me a follow. I'm a goofball. I say a lot of nonsense. I say a lot of funny shit. I'm the same guy, this right here, off the show and social media, everywhere. You're not going to catch anything different. So if you like some positivity in your life, give me a follow. I appreciate the kind words, my friend. Yeah, I do. I like the niche sports, my friend. I don't get involved in, I mean, I do, but not as heavily with the NFL and the NBA and everything everybody does. I love college basketball. I love UFC. Been hot all the way around. So you can go to talkingtheline.com. Right on the homepage, you can just subscribe to my blog as well as my partner Riley's blog. He puts out all of a sudden, I had to rep for him today. All of a sudden, he's becoming a golf sharp. I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but the son of a bitch is cashing tickets for us. So I said, hey, all right, we're just going to start riding you. I rode his 3 plays today. He's got a couple of top 20 finishers that I hammered in. So hopefully you guys we're able to read that. If you're not, even more of a reason to come and subscribe. You'll have my college basketball board report every afternoon. Every Saturday, I also drop that aforementioned UFC blog. I give picks, props, and then I break down every single fight as well. So if you're a big fight fan, I am as well, and I do a whole blog on that. So subscribe to those. You can also follow us at Talking the Line. That is our, I guess we're Talking the Line Sports Media on Facebook as well. Talking the Line Sports Media on YouTube. That's just kind of our one-stop shop for everything, all of our content we do. We have our 3 shows, our daily show, Talking the Line podcast, 10 a.m. Central till usually about 11:30 Central. And then weekly show, Wise Words. Didn't do it this week, and then we're still debating on if we're going to do it next week or not. But Season 3, we'll be kicking off Season 3, if not next week, the following Wednesday. And then every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. Central, we help you knock the sleep out of your eyes with our other weekly show called Cup of Joe on Campus. Fill up a big old Cup of Joe. I actually usually bring about 3 of these to the show and sip on those as we go through the entire college basketball slate, go through the entire college football slate too when it's football season as well, and just kind of dive into some rabbit holes as always. What else would you expect? And have some fun. So if I missed anything, there you see it. Follow me at Colt TTL Sports, at Talking the Line, and then talkingtheline.com is your one-stop shop for everything. And then follow my partner too, the legendary Riley R-Mags Magnuson, R-Mags to riches at R-Mags TTL Sports. Just replace Colt with RMAGS TTL Sports. Outside of that, I think I got it all. I don't know. The legendary Cape Cod connection, Jeff Dawson. I mean, forever grateful our paths cross. Forever grateful you give me an opportunity to come and blow some hot air. Maybe some air I'll want back on my deathbed someday. But hey, I'll keep spewing it as long as you allow me here in the present moment, my friend. So, as always, I digress. I yield back. I hope you all out there have a spectacular rest of your Thursdays, unless you have any other plans. And here you go. Here's my motivation for the day. It was my quote, my motivation minutes yesterday, but quote of the day: if you simply knew how fast everyone forgets the dead, you would stop living your life for everyone else. And I yield back. Thanks for having me on, my friend.
Time just flies. It's funny. We're an hour ahead of you, and it's just like, we were just on for 53 minutes, but who's counting? And we could just talk for hours, just breaking down the board. And what I love so much is the fact how what you do and what I do and our eyes see the same thing. Like I said, the Gophers and Sharkers stuck out like sore thumbs to me today. I knew you were coming downtown with Wilmington. If I was a betting man, which that FAU was the lock of the day. I knew that was coming. So
yes, sir.
I love
yes,
where
sir.
your eyes are. Everyone, you got to follow this guy. Yeah, him and Riley. Riley will be on tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. We just parked the Learjet in the Windy City for Thursday and Friday because we know these two are coming, and it's just amazing work that these two guys do, and they're just touching the surface. They're a breath of fresh air, and here at ECSI, we can't thank them enough. So thank you, sir.
Thank you
for all you do.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone that watched, listened, hopefully learned, educated, and getting ready to cash some tickets. Always remember this: when wagering and investing, do it responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Because myself and Colton care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. For myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, Colton Sroka at Colt TTL Sports. We wish you a blessed day. Enjoy the games, cash some tickets. And myself and Scotty will see you here at 4:30 for the closing bell.